ओम हेरंभाय नमः। ओम स्कंदपूर्वजाय नमः। ओम श्री सिद्धिविनायक स्वामिने नमः। ओम स्फटिकरजतवर्णं मौक्तकीमक्षमालाम् अमृतकलशविद्यां ज्ञानमुद्रां कराग्रे ददतमुरगकक्षं चन्द्रचूडं त्रिनेत्रं विद्युद्विविधभूषं दक्षिणामूर्तमीडे। ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। ओम ओंकारसिंह सर्वेन्द्राय नमः। ओम ओंकारोद्यानकोकिलाय नमः। ओम ओंकारनीडशुकराजे नमः। ओम ओंकारारण्यकुंजराय नमः। ओम नगराजसुताजानये नमः। ओम नगराजनिजालयाय नमः। ओम नवमाणिक्यमालाढ्याय नमः। ओम नवचंद्रशिखामणये नमः। ओम नंदिताशेषमौनीन्द्राय नमः। ओम नंदीशादिमदेशिकाय नमः। ओम मोहानलसुधासाराय नमः। ओम मोहाम्बुजसुधाकराय नमः। ओम मोहांधकारतरणये नमः। ओम मोहोत्पलनभौमनये नमः। ओम भक्त ज्ञानाब्धिशीतांशवे नमः। ओम भक्तांबोजसहस्रांशवे नमः। ओम भक्तकेकिघनाय नमः। ओम भक्तकैरवराकेन्दवे नमः। ओम भक्तकोकदिवाकराय नमः। ओम गजाननादिसंपूज्याय नमः। ओम गजचर्मोज्ज्वलाकृतये नमः। ओम गंगाधवलदिव्यांगाय नमः। ओम गंगापंकिलसज्जटाय नमः। ओम गगनाम्बरसंवीताय नमः। ओम गगनामुक्तमूर्धजाय नमः। ओम वदनाब्जजिताब्जश्रिये नमः। ओम वदनेन्दुस्फुरद्दिशाय नमः। ओम वरदानैकनिपुणाय नमः। ओम वनवीरोज्ज्वलत्कराय नमः। ओम वनवाससमुल्लासाय नमः। ओम वनवीरैकलोलुपाय नमः। ओम तेजभुञ्जघनाकाराय नमः। ओम तेजसामपि भासकाय नमः। ओम विनेयानां तेजप्रदाय नमः। ओम तेजोमय निजाश्रमाय नमः। ओम दमितानंगसंग्रामाय नमः। ओम दरहासचितांगनाय नमः। ओम दयारससुधासिन्धवे नमः। ओम दरिद्रधनसेवदये नमः। ओम क्षीरेन्दुस्फटिकाकाराय नमः। ओम क्षीरेन्दुमुकुटोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ओम क्षीरोपहाररसिकाय नमः। ओम क्षिप्रैश्वर्यफलप्रदाय नमः। ओम नानाभरणमुग्धांगाय नमः। ओम नारीसम्मोहनाकृतये नमः। ओम नागब्रह्मरसास्वादिने नमः। ओम नागभूषणभूषिताय नमः। ओम मूर्तिनिन्दितकन्दर्पाय नमः। ओम मूर्तामूर्तजगद्वपुषे नमः। ओम मूलाज्ञानतमोभानवे नमः। ओम मूर्तिमत्कल्पपादपाय नमः। ओम तरुणादित्यसङ्काशाय नमः। ओम तन्त्रीवादनतत्पराय नमः। ओम तरुमूलैकनिलयाय नमः। ओम तप्तजाम्बूनदप्रभाय नमः। ओम तत्त्वपुस्तोलसत्पाणये नमः। ओम तपुनोडुपलोचनाय नमः। ओम यमसंयुतसत्कीर्तये नमः। ओम यमसंयमसंयुताय नमः। ॐ यतिरूपधराय मौनिने नमः। ॐ यतीन्द्रोपास्य विग्रहाय नमः। ॐ मन्दारहाररुचिराय नमः। ॐ मदनायुतसुन्दराय नमः। ॐ मन्दस्मितलसत्वक्त्राय नमः। ॐ मधुराधरपल्लवाय नमः। ॐ मञ्जीरमञ्जुपादाब्जाय नमः। ॐ मणिपट्टोलसत्कटये नमः। ॐ हस्ताङ्कुरितचिन्मुद्राय नमः। ॐ हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ हंसजप्यक्षमालाढ्याय नमः। ॐ हंसेद्वाराध्यपादुकाय नमः। ॐ मेरुशृङ्गतटोल्लासाय नमः। ॐ मेघश्याममनोहराय नमः। ॐ मेधाङ्कुरालवालाग्र्याय नमः। ॐ मेधापक्वफलद्रुमाय नमः। ॐ धार्मिकान्तर्गुहावासाय नमः। ॐ धर्ममार्गप्रवर्तकाय नमः। ॐ धामत्रयनिजारामाय नमः। ॐ धर्मोत्तममनोरथाय नमः। ॐ प्रबोधोद्गारदीपश्रिये नमः। ॐ प्रकाशितजगत्र्याय नमः। ॐ प्रज्ञाचन्द्रशिलाचन्द्राय नमः। ॐ प्रज्ञामणिवराकराय नमः। ॐ ज्ञानान्तरभासात्मने नमः। ॐ ज्ञातृज्ञादिविदूरगाय नमः। ॐ ज्ञानज्ञाद्वैतदिव्यांगाय नमः। ॐ ज्ञातृज्ञातिकुलागताय नमः। ॐ प्रपन्नपारिजाताग्र्याय नमः। ॐ प्रणतार्थब्धिवाडवाय नमः। ॐ भूतानां प्रमाणभूताय नमः। ॐ प्रपञ्चहितकारकाय नमः। ॐ यत्तत्त्वमसि संवेद्याय नमः। ॐ यक्षगेयात्मवैभवाय नमः। ॐ यज्ञादिदेवतामूर्तये नमः। ॐ यजमानवपुर्धराय नमः। ॐ छत्राधिपतिविश्वेशाय नमः। ॐ छत्रसामरसेविताय नमः। ॐ छन्दशास्त्रादिनिपुणाय नमः। ॐ छलजात्यादिदूरगाय नमः। ॐ स्वाभाविकसुखैकात्मने नमः। ॐ स्वानुभूतिरसोददये नमः। ॐ स्वाराज्यसम्पदध्यक्षाय नमः। ॐ स्वात्माराममहामतये नमः। ॐ हाटकाभजटाजूटाय नमः। ॐ हासोदस्तारिमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ हालाहलोज्ज्वलगलाय नमः। ॐ हार्दग्रन्थिविमोचकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमेधादक्षिणामूर्तिस्वामिने नमः। ॐ श्रीदयानन्दसद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ श्रीमहेशानन्दसद्गुरवे नमः। Okay. So 2 weeks ago we had done the first of the shlokas. Om Omkara Simha Sarvendraya Namaha. So you will notice that in the first few of the names of Sri Dakshinamurti, the names of prominent animals are pointed out along with Omkara. So this is Omkara Pradhana. The Omkara is the main objective of these names. And along with it are the main animals that are prominent in the jungles. for a reason that we will see. So in the first one was Omkara Simha. So Simha is the lion, which is the king of the jungle. No one can really question the prominence and the power of the Simha. So the Omkara is also like that, that really speaking, if you catch hold of Omkara in your life, nothing else can really touch it. You are really in touch with Ishvara. And so this is the simile of the example. Now today we will continue this the naming of Dakshinamurti by the number 2. Omkaro Dhyana Kokilaya Namaha. So I'll briefly enunciate these Sanskrit commentary by Swami Tattvavidanandaji, and then also go into the meaning, and we may be able to do one or two by 7:30. So he says, Omkaraha eva udyane kokilaha. So udyane means a forest, or actually more of a garden. So a garden. So in the garden, the Omkara is the kokilaha, which is the cuckoo bird. And so in the garden, the cuckoo bird, the sound of it and the very looks of it and so on is the most beautiful. And so, Omkara eva udyane kokilaha, or athava Omkara eva udyanam. So, either you can take the Omkara as the kokila, or you can take the entire garden as Omkara. It can be depending upon whatever appeals to you. Tasmin kokilaha nadarupaha bhagavan tasmai namaha. So, udyane vriksha adhishtita bahavaha pakshinaha vartante. So he says that there are many birds inhabiting the trees in a garden. Tesham ravaha vividha rupaha santi. So in that, they are all making different sounds. All different kind of sounds are made by these birds inhabiting in the garden. Sarvesham ravanam madhye kokilarutam ativa vilakshanam ahaladakaram sa vartate iti sarve jananti. So it is, everybody knows that among all those sounds, the cuckoo's warble, the sound, is distinct and pleasing. Tatha eva sarvesham bhagavat vachakanam namnam madhye omkarasya kopi mahimaha jigyasubhihi pratyakshi kriyate. So similarly, among the names of the Lord, the seekers of self-knowledge experience some power with the Omkara. There is something unique about it. Just the saying the word Om is something which is very powerful and very beautiful. Omkaropi mahima jigyasubhihi pratyakshi kriyate. So by the pratyakshanam, by the actual pronunciation of Om, the jigyasu, the ones who, so the jigyasu is the one means gyatumichuhu. So the word jigyasu means, gyatumichu means the one who really want to understand the meaning of the word Om. So not just pronouncing it per se, which is also very good, but if you can enhance it with a certain understanding, so that's given by the word jigyasuhu. And so the students of Vedanta are jigyasuhu. Omka is popular amongst all Hindus and even non-Hindus, but the ones who really study the significance of the Omkaras are called jigyasuhu. So for them, it has a very special meaning, is what is meant by here. Udyanam gatva kokila rutasya shravanena tad bhava bhavitam manaha kamapi shantim ajigacchati iti sarvesham anubhava eva. So he says that it is well known that one goes to a garden and listens to the song of the cuckoo. The mind is infused with a feeling for the song and one gains peace. And then so you just focus on the sound of the of a cuckoo. And in fact, in India, in Hindi, cuckoo is called koyal. And I don't know if you have experienced the sound of the koyal. It is so beautiful. It pierces all the rest of it. And I remember if just going on even on a road and just listening to the koyal sound just attracts you. And so the poet here is comparing the infusion of meaning towards the Om, towards as though it is the call of the koyal. That's beautiful. This is the universal experience. Evameva samsara tapat taptanam naranam bhagavati manas samadhaya tapa upashamam praptum omkara vishishtara shabdah pratikah vachakascha anyo nasti. So he says there is no sound symbol or the name of the Lord superior to Omkara, facilitating the resolution of the mind and the cessation of sorrow of the people overwhelmed by the afflictions of samsara. And so what is said is that even whenever you are in, as we have been studying, really speaking, that whenever we are afflicted by some problems, and even when you are not afflicted by problems, it doesn't matter that you have to be afflicted with problems. Just the remembrance of Ishvara in your mind with the sound Omkara resolves, whitens your mind down immediately. So this is the experience. Then I think we should just stop because it's already 7:30, and so we will go with the next one, which is Omkara Nida Shukaraje Namaha. So the next animal that will be talked about is the parrot, and for a reason that we will see. So he has covered Simha and Kokila, and the next one will be a parrot that we will do next time. Okay. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Vadarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavadyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Lukarasvandakaro Vai Lukarastvannivartakaha Andhakara Nirodhitvat Gururitya Vidhiyate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So let us chant the Karika verses 5, 6 and 7. Number 5. Swapna Jagritasthana स्थाने ह्येकम् आहुः मनीषिणः भेदानां हि समत्वेन प्रसिद्धेनैव हेतुना आदावन्ते च यत् नास्ति आदावत्तेन च यत् नास्ति वर्तमानेऽपि तत्तथा वितथैः सदृशाः सन्तः अवितथा इव लक्षिताः अवितथा इव लक्षिताः सप्रयोजननता तेषां स्वप्ने विप्रतिपद्यते तस्माद् आद्यन्तवत्त्वेन मिथ्या एव खलु ते स्मृताः Okay. So last week we studied the extension of how one should look at our waking experiences based on our dream experience. So the similarity of the two were pointed out, and the key thing, as we saw last week, is not just seeing the similarity of the two states of experience, but also have the mind of a mind of wisdom. So just like saying those two are similar is just a start. So this word Manishinaha is the one that really Swami Maheshananji explored and explained. And this is a very important thing that we have to see. We will continue on this today, so we'll build on it. So what it really means is, we really come down to it, that the study of Vedanta is the maturity of spiritual thought. And the way human beings are created by Ishvara, there is some stages have to go through. So one stage is that you first become a child. You are already a baby when you're born, but then you become a child. And the child has to simply take what the child sees and just take it to be what it is. And the maturity of the human being is to move from the state of childhood to the state of adulthood. And so what that means is that not necessarily take the very first thing that comes to your mind, but to examine it and to think about it and to make some intelligent decisions about it. This is what the adulthood really means. In the case of spirituality, the study of Vedanta is exactly the same thing. Because I think, one thing that becomes very apparent is that one can become an adult And you think that you have now grown up, you are 30, 40, 50, and then there's a decline after that, but you think this is it. This is what you have to do. Means that the maturity has been obtained when you can be consistent with the society, you're earning good money, you're not wasting time. So like that's another thing in the childhood, you are basically playing with useless things just because of the fact that that what you do. But then the adult learns not to waste time and to become a little bit more focused. This is what the maturity of the human being is. And you think this is it. This is all it is. There is another stage of maturity that we must strive for. So that is really not the main maturity. Why isn't it the main maturity? Because we are still dependent on the world and we are not free. When you are purely dependent on the world, you are somewhat free. If you work hard and you make money and you pay mortgage, you are a little bit free. You're not living you're not like homeless person. You have become mature, you have disciplined yourself to make money, you are a little less dependent, but you are still dependent. All of a sudden you have a heart problem, all of a sudden you have cancer, all of a sudden something happens. You're still dependent. So the maturity of the human being is not complete. So Vedanta says there is another stage which will completely make you free. That maturity is to learn and to absorb the lessons of Vedanta. And so this Manishinaha is an important word because it points to what the Vedantic maturity really means. So one should think about this. This is a very beautiful explanation by Swami Maheshananji. So what he's saying is, so look at this. Just like a child doesn't know what is better and wants to play games and doesn't want to really think about the uselessness of games until you become more mature. Then the parents can tell, I know games are okay, you played enough, now it's time to study. Think about it. And the child says, why? Why do I have to study? This is fine. And said, no, there's something better, you have to study it, think about it. Very similarly is the immature person from a spiritual standpoint. And the immaturity is that you think of the dream experience as something that just comes and goes. And the Jagrat Avastha, the waking state, is the main one. This is the immaturity. This is the immaturity. So from this standpoint, the immaturity means that you're not willing to look into it any more than that. Manishi means one who says no. What you have to do is to question it. And the way you question it is you do not follow the very first thing that appears to your mind, which says this is real. This is exactly what we do. Our behavior, our experiences, our attitude, our actions are all with respect to the feeling that this is all there is. There's nothing else to it. I had a dream last night that's gone, and this is the real stuff. and I have to contend with it. I have to live all my life with this. This is what the spiritually immature person does. So the Vedanta says, please, grow up. How do I grow up? Grow up by, because the immature person means that, your mind is telling you some things. Hey, this is real. Well, how can you say this is not real? And so don't stop all this bookish business and Vedanta business and so on. Just live with it and, earn money and just have fun. This is all there is. This is what the immature mind says. So now the question is, who is the boss? It's just like a child saying, hey, listen, I have so much fun in playing games. I don't want to do anything else. Something more has to happen where you say no. Similarly, here also, a Manishi says, no, think about it. And so a Manishi means one who is trying to tame his or her mind. So in Hindi he says, Jisne man ko jeet liya hai. So jeet liya means one who has won over. And we will study in the Bhagavad Gita class also today, where Krishna tells Arjuna that, Arjuna, the greatest victory that you can have is to win over your own mind. You can win over a country, you can win over other people, you can do this and so on. But until you win over your own mind, you have not conquered. Most important thing that you have to really do. And so here also, the Manishinaha says that the one who starts to direct the mind in a deeper meaning why the two states of experiences are identical. Even though they don't appear to be, they are identical. So this was the culmination of the verse number 5. So in 5 was that this will all be repeated later on, but this is just setting the foundation. The foundation is that a Manishi explores the similarity. Bhedanam hi samatvena. You explore the similarity of the two states of experiences. Okay, so this was what we did. Now we turn the corner into something different. Very interesting how you'll see this. So we go to verse number 6. So in verse number 6, the introduction to verse number 6 by Swami Maheshananji is very interesting. So this is what is called Sangati. Sangati means the connection between one or the other. So he says that there is an objection. The objection is you keep saying that the dream and the waking experience are similar. They are not similar. They are very dissimilar. How can you say that? Because he says that there are different ways of dealing with those two things. And the example he gives is the difference between the human experience and the experience of devas. So he actually takes the truth given in the Vedas and presents this objection. He says, listen, you know how the human experience is, right? Which is that the human person is born as a very small thing in the mother's tomb. And then it grows. And then it is taken out when it is able to support itself. And it grows old. And it dies. This is the human experience. The Devas' experience is, this is well known in the Vedas, it all given, that in the heavens, the Devas are not born like that. They don't have a father and a mother. They are straight away born into a 16-year-old. Beautiful face and great health, young looking, and you stay there for the entire period. There's no aging in the heavens. Well known, very well known. And in fact, it is something similar to in the dream experience. Something similar, not exactly similar. How is it similar? Because when you take up a dream body, you don't have time to be born to a mother. You immediately become a dream body. So it's possible. It is not something that you say, how is that possible that in the heavens that you can just come immediately with a 16-year-old? It's possible. It's done all the time. You do this in the dream every day. So he argues, this objectioner argues, very good objection, that just like the human experience is totally different, you have to be born as a baby, then you have to grow, then you have to start eating, then as soon as you do that, then pretty soon you become heavy, and then you become old, all those things. And in the heavens, there is no such thing. So he says, they are different experiences. You cannot say that they are similar. So similarly, he says, do not teach me, do not talk to me about the similarity of the dream experience and the waking experience, because they are different experiences. They are different, laws are different. So he says, don't talk to me about that. So Gaudapada says, okay, forget about the dream. Let us stay within the waking state itself. All right, he says, I will cover what you say is not correct, but I will not bother you for the time being by bringing up this dream experience all the time. Let us now shift our attention to the Jagrata Avastha. So this number 6, Antasthana I'm reading number 4. So in number 6 he says, Adavante cha yatnasti, etc., etc., is purely by looking at the Jagrata Avastha. So he says there is another logic why the things are not real for another reason. There's another reason. Nothing to do with the fact that this is like a dream. The reason is anything that begins and ends is not real. Anything that begins and ends is not real. So this has nothing to do with the dream. This is the law that appears in the Jagrata Avastha. Adavante. Then Adav in the beginning, cha ante in the end. Even though it is present for the time being, this should be considered to be non-real. Adav ante cha yat nasti vartamane epi tattatha vitathaihi sadrishaha santaha. They are as good as being not there. Avitatha iva lakshita, even though they look like they are real. So this is the thing. This is what we have to now study. Okay. So here, so all these examples point to the fact that our indriyas, our sense organs, are simply reporters. They simply report to you. They say, you know, this looks very real to me. What you need to do is to bring your buddhi, your mind, to analyze the report. The reporters say, I see something. And I see something which, I just see something. It doesn't say whether it's real or not. Whether or not it has any consequence has to be determined by the mind. So, for example, there's different, all these examples. We have traditionally taken the snake and the rope example. So the eyes see that there is something there which is damaging, which is like a snake. And now you have to analyze it and see whether it is really true or not. The opposite of that is if you're just walking on the beach, and the old example was the mother of pearl, which shines like a silver. And the latest example is that of the cigarette. The inside of the cigarette, we don't see that anymore. Nobody smokes anymore here. But when we were growing up, people were smoking all the time, and then they would open up the carton, and there was a silver in it, which shines, and it looks like it's got some silver in it. So this is the example. Or another example is that in the desert, which is a very good example, that the animals falsely see that there is water on the horizon because of the shimmering of the sand, and they run towards it, and they cannot find it, and they see some more, and they keep running for it. This is also another example where the indriyas simply report. Now you have to make a decision on top of that, whether they do it or not. Swamiji gives a very beautiful example. He says that there was a woman who was pursued by a man to get married. It happens all the time and so the boy kept calling her and saying sweet nothings to her, and say, I love you, I cannot live without you, you have to marry me. And so she finally approaches her parents and she says, I think this guy really loves me. No one else sees me, love me as much. He sees something in me so I think I want to get married. And they get married. They got married. Then after the marriage, the trouble starts. And this fellow gets mad at her and saying, you are good for nothing, you can't even cook, and I married this, that, or the other. So she says to some friend that this guy is very strange. So her friend says, so look at this carefully, very interesting. Her friend says, well, he loved you. He loved you at one time, and now he doesn't love you anymore. She says, he never loved me. His love was false. So look at this. See this? In one case, the person says, and this has some very interesting implications, I'll tell you that in a minute. In one case, the person says, no, he really loved you, and he doesn't love you anymore. So there are two states. Just accept it. She says in her wisdom that his love was never true. And she's right. If his love was really true, it would have lasted. He would have taken care of small problems everybody has, and so on and so forth, but the basic love remains. So her conclusion is that the love was false. See, look at this example. Now the implication is this. You've heard of Vishishta Advaita, Ramanujana's Vishishta Advaita. Vishishta Advaita says that things change. There was real love in the beginning, in this example, and there is no love now. So why can't we just take it? So this is like also saying that the human being is bound right now, and then through some things and so on, he becomes free from Ishvara, he does a lot of bhakti and so on and so forth. So there are two states. So this is called Vishishta Advaita. Vishishta Advaita means that Advaita means non-dual. Vishishta means kind of like a special kind of non-duality. What is the special non-duality? It means that it can be dual at times and it can be non-dual at times. This is what Ramanuja's, and everybody says that's a good thing. Yeah, it's true because that's my experience also. It's also my experience. Advaita Vedanta Sampradaya says no. Advaita Vedanta is like this woman who says his love was never true. It was all passion. Really. The love was, he was passionately, he was looking to marry me, and it looks like love, it was not really love. Similarly, the boundness of even now when we are feeling, this has major implications, really, major implications. This kind of thinking, and so beautiful. Implications are that even now, when you feel bound, you are not really bound. So what is the implication? Implication is you have to question. So see the difference. It is not like for the now I am just going to think this is real. Later on when I am retired I will inquire into it. No, it's not going to work. You have to think about the fact even when it appears to be real, you have to think why is it that it is real to me. And to give some credence to that, it says you need to start thinking that what is beginning and an end is just appearance to me. It has nothing to do with the dream. You just look at it from this standpoint. And that really speaking, all your attitudes towards your life will be that they are just as a drama. And the reason you should do that is because you have to investigate what is real. This is a very important thing. So what happens is we are so busy, so preoccupied in looking at things and dealing with them as though they are real, that we have no time and no opportunity, no strength, no focus on examining the freedom of that we are. This is the issue. So this is where the differences between Advaita and Vishishta Advaita and so on is not just theoretical. Not theoretical. Look at this. So the Vishishta, we're just taking Vishishta Advaita as just one example because we're just looking at it. Vishishta Advaita will says you just deal with your life as though you are bound. And you can deal with the opportunity not to be bound later. And it says, no, can't do that. You have to, you need to, if you are serious about this, you have to see, while you are living, question it. and hang on to the apron of Advaita Vedanta and question it. And you say, I can't, I'm not able to do that. That's fine. If you're not able to do that, that's fine. But attempt it. And so this is the basic thing that is being talked about in these verses. And that, really speaking, what you find is that if this rule applies everywhere and everything. So, for example, you have a child, your own child. How you look upon the child. It looks like, that your whole attitude towards your children, your property, your spouses, your friends, and so on is all that this is what it is all. And what it needs to be, including your own children, is that they just came from somewhere. They were not there at some point. And they are not going to be there after a while. You are going to continue. They have their own life. You are going to continue with who you are. And inquire into who you are. Even while they are there, leave the hold of them. If you have some duties to perform, perform the duties. But do not be so taken up by the reality of the various situations in your life that you have no time, no opportunity to inquire into the freedom of yourself. This is what would be called a manishina. This would be the thinking of the human being when you are spiritually more mature. If you say, I'm spiritually not immature, that's fine. You don't have to beat yourself with it. But start right now. There is no other better opportunity to do so. And then you will see, so as we have said that many times, the difference between Brahma and Prama. Brahma means false, Vaitatyam, falsity of something. And Prama, which is the reality of something, is Brahma frightens you at first, engages you at first. And Prama seems very vague at first. But if you go towards it and examine it, Brahma starts to fade. And Prama becomes more real. And so this is the mind that we need to have. So beautiful, really. This analysis and how combining it with the overall sense of what I need to do. And so Gita also in the second chapter, where Krishna says this, that Arjuna, what are you talking about? These just look like don't get too concerned about it. These people were not there at first, none of us were there, and then we are there for a while and then they'll be gone. And so examine your own self, how that is different from all of this. So this is the advice given in this. So now we turn the corner and look at another aspect, and which is if this is false, if the world is false to me, how come it looks real to me? What's the reason for it? The reason for this question is that I'm not totally confident that I can conquer this world as being false. Because this is very true. We are at the point where we say this just seems like a promise to me, but can I do this? Is it possible for us to do this? Again, I'll draw something I'll talk about in the Gita class also. So in the chapter, 6th chapter that we are studying, Krishna is, Arjuna is asking Krishna that, my mind is haywire, it's going chanchalam, and how can I do this? So he says, Abhyasena vairagyena tu. We have been studying that and will be continuing that. So it tells him, this is what you need to do, you have to dwell on it and so on. So Arjuna then gives a counter and says, I am not sure that I can do this. I am not sure. There are different people, I am just not ready. Hey, this reminds me, I remember this so well in our PRC days. Every now and then in the satsang with Swamiji, because Swamiji will be inspiring us and says, this is what it is and this is how you have to think about it and so on. And then in the satsang, somebody was asked this question, Swamiji, this seems very good. I agree, this is, but I am not capable of understanding this. So Swamiji says, why? What's your problem? So he says, Swamiji, you don't know me. I have lots of problems. I can't even think straight. Swamiji says, just follow this. This is the reason for doing thinking straight. You'll be okay. He says, no, Swamiji. So Swami Paramarthananda in his commentary on these verses, we are going to study this again in the Gita, says that sometimes the student becomes so pessimistic that he starts to even affect the teacher, who also becomes pessimistic. The teacher starts by being optimistic, this is going to be great, so on and so forth. But so the teacher says, no, Swamiji, you have no idea how bad I am. I can't even do my daily chores. I'm depressed. It's no possible. I don't know Sanskrit. That's another thing. And I don't have time to study and so on and so forth. So the teacher also starts thinking, well, maybe it is right. Maybe the student is... So similarly here also, very much so, going back to it, this is the next point. And Swami Maheshananji comments on it. He says, before I do that, there's another paragraph that I want to explain. So hold that thought for a minute. So I'll come back to it. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting it. So here, Adi Shankara gives a very good point where Swami Maheshananji explains it. So it says that it is not necessary. So the concept is that anything that began and ends is not real, as we have seen. So here, Adi Shankara says, this is not necessarily true. It also includes something that was never begun to begin with. And the one that was always there but will end. Those two also should be taken into account. Examples are the son of a barren woman. You cannot worry about the child of a woman that can, nowadays I guess through all this in vitro or something, I don't know what they will say about that. But this was a classical example. And so there, it is not, you can just make some, just like you can say, I see ghosts. The ghost was never really born. Here, there's another very interesting example. So, there is a magician who suddenly shows you $100 bills. And then he says, see, and then he throws them out, and there's all $100 bills, and there is nothing. There's just pieces of paper. There's no $100. So you cannot. At the end of that, in fact, the magicians never ask for questions at the end. They don't. They just do the magic, and then they just get off the stage. That's it. You cannot have a question-answer session with them. But if there was a question-answer session, somebody will say, you know those $100 bills? Where did you get them from? Which printing press did you use? Like in India, you know, they change the notes. So they'll say, is it the old note or the new note? Old time. So Adi Shankara says that if you do something, it doesn't have to be real. If it is real, it is not there. There's no question that you can have it, and so on. Anyway, so there are some additional things that Adi Shankara also talks about. Now we go back to our question that if it is not true, how does it appear to be really true? So this is the same point as before, that you have to examine with the help of your thoughts. You cannot just take it as your sense organs. You have to really think about it. So, for example, in the case of looking at it, seeing a snake instead of a rope, it might appear to you to be a snake, but you have to examine it, and you find that it doesn't stand up to inquiry. There's a very famous statement which says, avicharita siddham dvaitam, vicharam na sahate. Vicharam na sahate. So the Brahma and Prama example as before also, that if you really examine it, you find that it is not there. So similarly here also, resort to the protection of the truth and start to distinguish between what is asatyam and what is satyam. Remember, we talked about this 3 or 4 weeks ago. This is the basic premise of Vedanta. You cannot find something is asatyam until you find something which is truly satyam. And I can just tell you from my own personal experience also, that slowly, you see, so here's what happens. In the beginning, the self as a separate entity is not even a possibility. Not even a possibility. Why not? Because the self is mixed up with the non-self. By that we mean that I am old. That means that I and my body's age is mixed up together. I'm hungry. I'm upset. I'm happy. So there is aviveka between I and the non-I. Between Chaitanya and Jadam, there is complete aviveka. This is my experience. So at first you are totally oblivious to I as a separate entity. Then, on some introduction, the possibility is given to you that, wait, you are mixing up two things. They are non-mixable things. They look like they are the same, but they are not. The anatma throws its upadhi upon the atma. Very much like the example given is that in a pure crystal, if you put a colorful flower next to the crystal looks colorful, even though it is unaffected. It is the upadhi of the flower that makes it colorful. It is by itself not colorful. So this is what we have to think. So at that point, I am introduced to the idea that there are two separate things that look alike. Then comes a long period where that idea is kept in the background, but I don't do anything about it. Because of all of my vasanas, my preoccupations, there's so much momentum in my life that even though I think it looks true to me, I don't really follow through with it. So there the question is, you will never follow through with it until you bring it to a priority. And the way to bring out to the priority is to understand that this is the fallacy of the mind. You cannot say, as we have studied a couple of times ago, that the mind says, if I see something, that must be real. And Vedanta says, I say just the opposite. If you see something, it is not real. The seen is never real. Only the seer is real. So this idea has to be followed through. And so the reason for why the falseness appears to be real, and therefore the way to counteract that is inquiry. Personal, without telling anyone else, without promoting it, just having a lot of confidence in yourself, being optimistic, not being pessimistic. Continue to inquire. And as you do, and this is I tell you my own personal experience, which I've said in the last few classes also, is that gradually you feel that the whole world is lessening its hold on you. You are relying more on the self and less on your experiences. And this is a very beautiful experience. I tell you, there's nothing like it. Even though you're not completely free yet, but the path to freedom is very clear, very clear. And along with that comes a lot of patience. Because if we are not following this path, I become impatient with myself. And you say that, nothing is working. But if you see this thing working, you become patient with yourself. then your self-inquiry becomes more palpable, more real. And beautiful thing, really. So I would say that it's interesting. Um, you know, in this example, Swami Maheshananji says that you are always doing upasana, whether you realize or not. Upasana means your commitment, your love, your prayers, your actions. This is what upasana means. Mental. Upasana means mental karma. So karma means your physical actions and so on, and upasana means your mental action. So Swami Maheshananji says that really speaking, we are engaged in doing anatma upasana. So when you are behaving in your life without understanding, it is doing anatma upasana. And you need to switch over to atma upasana, which is Ishvara upasana. In the beginning, actually, you do Ishvara upasana and then turns into Atma upasana. Because Ishvara is not any different from your own self. So you cannot trust your own Ishvara, yourself, as long as you are doing Anatma upasana. So then there needs to be a period in your life, a stage in your life, when you are not doing upasana to anatma, you are just biding time. But your upasana switches over to number one, Ishvara, which then turns into Atma upasana. This is the maturity of a spiritual person. So it is not just a matter of just saying, you know, this is also like a dream and this is all okay. And your mind says, BS. It's not like it. There's a lot of differences. Don't listen to these people. And then you go on to something else. Whereas in fact you missed the opportunity. And the opportunity is to think and to do analysis and to hold on to the apron of Ishvara. He says, I don't know, it looks very, I don't know what to do. Stick with it. Slowly it becomes clear. So this is the sense of the Gaudapada's commentary, and also brought out by Swami Maheshananji so very beautifully. So I'll stop with that, and we'll take up some other topics next time. But I'll end with this very interesting example, which I didn't mention. So there was this is a real life case. So there was this a Swami, his name is Swami Prakashanand Saraswati, and he used to live in Gaya Prayag. It's a real life situation. So Meera, who was a great bhakta of Krishna, as you know, had heard about this Swami. And so she came to meet with him. So this Swami had made a pratigya that I don't want to see any women in my life. Because, you know, once you see the opposite sex, they attract you, and then you become brashta and so on. So that was his thinking. So he used to just stay in his, and so on. So his brahmachari came to him and said, you know, there is this very famous lady who everybody knows about her. She has come to see you. So he says, no, tell her that I cannot see her because I have already taken a promise that I'm not going to see any women. So the brahmachari came out and told Miraji he doesn't want to see you because. So she says, if that's the case, I don't want to see him. Because I didn't know that he is still thinking of men and women and their bodies and so on and so forth. That means he's not clear about it. So she says, I'm very glad you told me this. I thought he was a Mahatma. He's really not really a Mahatma. So she went away. So this Swami, the brahmachari told himself, she doesn't want to see you. He says, what? Why does he want to see me? She says, this is what she says. He says, oh, so. He says, he went, and this is really true, he fell at her feet and said, you're so right, so right. My bhakti was really false. This is not true. That it is, you seem very real to me. And my understanding of non-reality is incomplete. And so he ended this verse with this example, which I thought would be interesting. Anyway, we'll continue with this next time. Om Swasti Prajabhyav Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yamsho Parahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha Hari Om. So instead of questions, I would request Rama and Madhu to come and give you a report. They were at the Rishikesh ashram listening to Swami Paramarthananda. So Swami Paramarthananda usually does not go out, but this time he did. So please come and tell us about what the teaching was all about, and give us a little report about that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
There are really no words to explain how great his discourses were in my limited vocabulary. And having Ganga Mata in the backyard is a plus, and everything was great. Of course, everybody knows Paramarthananda Swami, almost everybody knows. Our Guruji also used to quote some examples when he was doing Taittiriya Upanishad. So we would like to go again if he offers camp again. He may not come here, but looks like he will go to Rishikesh. So that's.
Did you know ahead of time?
6 months ago, I was just looking at the calendar, thinking that Tattvavidananda Swami was not coming here, so maybe we'll go there to listen to Tattvavidananda Swami. And then to my great surprise, Paramarthananda Swami was announced.
He doesn't do it,
Yeah,
and I didn't even know. I wish
Yeah.
we knew.
They had to close the admissions 2 months before
Yeah.
the deadline,
Yeah,
because
he is very popular.
655 people came. It.
Six
I mean,
hundred and
they
fifty-
registered.
Oh, registered.
They were able to accept only 255
Oh,
or
250.
something.
I didn't think
Because
that.
the hall is small, everything is small
Wow.
compared to Sailorsburg. It is small.
What did you study?
Ram Gita. Ram Gita. He finished all the 62 verses. And then they're going to put his lectures, upload them on YouTube.
Hmm.
Yeah,
They
this
said-
is everything
They
available.
said they will send us a link, and then I'm sure you will get a link too,
Good.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
you were there? How long?
Huh?
10 days.
10 days,
10
2
days,
weeks.
That's good.
10 days.
Yeah, I thought, first of all, I want to see the ashram, ashram, how the conditions of ashram, they are really good. We can really live, after living in this country for 40 years, we want to have some good time to live. First of all, physically, I need to feel better. Then I think I can understand Gita, Rama Gita. So honestly, the third ashram I saw in India. Previous two ashrams are not that convenient, but this is good. We can all really live there, good company. Ganga river is next to the ashram on the other side, so it was good. Rama Gita, when I heard about Rama Gita, I thought it's one more Gita. Okay, again, but when he started, Rama Gita is a discussion between Rama and Lakshmana. And it is completely no karma, not much of karma in that. It is mostly Vedanta. And during Vedanta, one thing Swami said, physically, if you see, Bhagavan is everything. Humans, we are only tiny people here. But through conscious Atma point of view, if you see consciousness, Bhagavan and we are same. Therefore, try to understand that. That understanding was something convincing to me. Because, okay, this body is not trivial. This body is as important as consciousness. Therefore, when he told us, at the body level, please don't think you are God. God is Atma. At the Atma level, you and God can be same. So, okay. So, did this make any sense? I don't know. It makes a lot of sense to me, because all the time I was wondering, how can I be God? Why people
That's
say,
what we're learning here.
huh? Yeah, the thing is, it was because my mind was always struggling with myself, thinking, how can I go and convince somebody, hey, God and me are same. I can now convince them. I can say them, at the conscious level, guys, we are same. At body level, we are different. And he is going to stay there permanently, we are going to come and go. So, from that point of view, now I am happy. I don't know if Ram Gita where he mentioned very clearly, I don't know that, because he was reading all those Sanskrit verses, which obviously I don't know how to even understand them. But when he tried to explain that each verse, he did say this very clearly. Okay, so that's what I learned, Vijayji.
So-
And today you did say that upasana at mental level and at body level, the two things, same thing almost, upasana. At conscious level, at worldly level, so those are two upasanas. We can't avoid. We are living at the body level, we have to think about Atma level.
So did you have a nice place to stay, live?
Wonderful place, guys. Wonderful,
Ashram,
good
in the
food,
ashram, yep.
good place to stay. Even if you want to walk around, Ganga River is so beautiful there. Honestly, the very good place. And you can go out, of course, on one side of the gate, one side of the ashram, if you go out, it's all same, dirty roads, dirty shops, everything is, you know what I mean to say. Still, I love that country, okay, don't misunderstand me. But on the other side of the gate you go, is a Ganga there, temple is there, Ganga there. people are, so it's very, very good place.
So how many classes did you have during the day?
Two, Paramarthananda Swami's two classes.
Okay.
Shantatmananda Swami, one class, and one meditation class. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two classes per day,
Yeah.
and 20, I think we'll get 20 videos. The link, they are going to provide us a link in another 1 week. So it will have a 20 videos, they're free. So I can share that link with everybody here.
Were there some
Yes.
other people from here that also went?
Kiriti that
Kirit
used
was
to
there.
attend your class. And then there are other people from California also attended.
This person, this couple from Marin County, what's his name?
Rama?
Huh?
Rama?
No, this is the American couple.
Oh,
Yeah, they came.
Right.
Those,
no, not Rudy.
yeah,
He attends our classes
Yeah,
online.
it's online.
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know their name,
Yeah,
but both
I'm
are from,
forgetting.
they are not from Berkeley, but some other
Yeah,
town.
they're from Marin County. So
Yeah.
he had told me that they were going to go to that.
Yeah, they did come and.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw Chandrasekhar's wife,
Yeah.
Anandi, she was there too.
Oh, Anandi was there,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And I did mention to Swamiji that so Vijayji sends his regards.
Oh, wonderful, very
And I
nice.
also
Yeah.
told him that we attend his classes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Attend?
Huh?
No, nothing, sorry.
Come on, tell me, whatever.
I know.
It's okay.
Chala Swami
No,
has
he was
another
very
class.
happy that we are attending Vijayji's classes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay, very good. Let's see you next week.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When Swamiji is approached by a brahmachari for diksha, how does one? It seems like there are a few Swamijis who are not Jivan Muktas also, but not even really Jnanis, that dissipate false information or display something in their character or in their behavior that is not to being a Swami. So how does one, or other, I don't know, how does one choose?